You have just now tuned into the Organic Vision Podcast, where we are here to keep you motivated to bring your visions to reality, encouraging you to never give up on yourself no matter what. Want to ensure you don't miss an episode or any of our content? Please subscribe to our YouTube channel at ORGVSNPOD and Instagram at ORGVSN_POD. Keep chasing those visions, y'all.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yo, welcome back to the Organic Vision Podcast. This is episode number 2, titled Negative Thoughts. Negative thoughts, man. We all have them. I've had plenty today. I've had some a couple minutes ago. They're kind of inevitable, man. It's hard to get away from them. There is a way to manage through negative thoughts, and that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. I'll go a little bit over how have I managed to still push through and continue to chase my vision with these negative thoughts, and how this maybe can help you, man. I want to be able to share some value there, and hopefully you can get something from it and take some things away to help you if you do conceive any negative thoughts. Negative thoughts, man, to me is just like a couple of voices, man, just kind of going at it in your head, similar to politicians, just trying to gain your vote for which way they want you to go, right? So you may have one negative thought telling you, let's go get some fast food. You might have another thought saying, well, let's go to the grocery store. Let's figure out a better way to do this. So it's not necessarily two negative voices, but there's just two voices that's always kind of attacking one another, and one trying to get you to do one thing versus the other. So that's what I think about the dynamic. They can be duplicated, or there can be just one voice talking to you, telling you why you can't do something, or why you shouldn't do something, or what you should do in this case, or what you shouldn't do in that case. Man, just to give you a little bit more transparency here, because that's what I'm here for, not to beat around the bush or not to talk around topics, but negative thoughts have held me back and have controlled me for a while. I still fight these negative thoughts about my capabilities. Should I chase this vision? Right? Should I take that risk? Should I go left? Should I go right? Negative thoughts have always surrounded myself, and it's taken me to get to the point of 35 to really stand tall and stern in what I really want for myself. So I've been fighting negative thoughts for quite a while, but I'm gracious to be able to be here before you and let you know that I have found a little bit of a way to kind of navigate through the negative thoughts that come into my mind. So for one, let me get specific here. So on the last pod, I talked about, working for my previous employer, that not working out, and just kind of get overwhelmed and tired and wanting something more, wanting something better for myself. Well, it wasn't new to me that I wanted something better for myself. I always knew I wanted to one day be self-employed, one day have a business, one day do something that I can call my own. But negative thoughts have stopped me from doing that for quite some time. Negative thoughts separated me from that reality. Negative thoughts separated me from taking the first step to action. It wasn't that I didn't think I could do it. It was that I let my thoughts in my head tell me that I couldn't do it. And so I had to get over that. And I think one thing that causes a lot of negative thoughts that we do have and conceive is fear. Fear of the unknown. Fear of, like, if I take this risk, if I take this step, what is going to happen next? And then a fear to make a mistake and fail. So that's been key for me to overcome for quite some time, and just telling myself, no, man, you can do this. And when I stepped out on faith and started to talk about my experiences and be transparent as much as I can in certain topics, people resonate with it. And then I felt even more comfortable to share more. So now you have a podcast and you hear me, and you can hear me talk a little bit more about my experiences and dive a little bit deeper. Those negative thoughts I had, man, were always kind of pulling me away from what the me that I wanted to be. And so I just decided, like, hey, I'm not going to let these negative thoughts take over me no more. I'm not going to let these negative thoughts consume me anymore. I want to fight back. And until you decide to fight back against those negative thoughts, against whatever is going on in your mind, it's going to be a tough uphill battle until you fully decide that, like, hey, I'm like really sick of this. I'm really fed up with this. This is not enough for me. I want more for myself. I want to do more. I think that's really what is the beginning of the turning of events that you will experience. Once you decide that you want more and you take action, saying it doesn't really mean much. All right, we all know that. Talk is cheap. You know, we heard so many different ways to say action beats your vocal cords. So taking that step, but also being consistent in taking those steps. So what I did was I just made up in my mind I wanted to be healthy. I made up in my mind I I didn't want to be having less energy. I didn't want to kind of go and continue to live life the way I was living it from a health standpoint. I needed to be able to exercise. I needed to be able to feel like I was confident in my own body. And that was a mental thing that I had to overcome. So check that off the board. I mean, number two is trusting myself to be able to start a clothing brand on my own and go through those processes of growing it small. A fear there and a negative thought there was, man, you're not going to be able to sell a piece of clothing to somebody that you don't know. And that was always my fear. Like, I can't only just sell to my friends and family with this clothing brand. I need to be able to grow it and sell to people that don't know. But from what I have to offer, are people going to want to buy from me? And this is a negative thought that has kind of held me back for a while and held me back from jumping out the window. But I decided to. I decided to, and it's turned out phenomenal, man. It's turned out so great that the negative thoughts I have now is more about changing the mechanics in your mind to think differently. Being able to tell yourself, no, I know this is just a voice in my head, but it's not really my reality. I don't have to believe it, even though I'm hearing this. I don't have to entertain this thought, even though it's haunting me. The way to fight back is to take a step towards whatever that thought is, whatever that negativity that's coming your way. And I can talk from a standpoint of a relationship, right? Like, it could be a negative thought telling you like this relationship isn't good for you, or this job isn't good for you, or this place isn't good for you, wherever you are in life, it's not good for you, right? But on the flip side of that, we know what's good for us. We know this, right? We don't really need to be told who to hang with. We don't really need to be told how to deal with certain things. It's just a matter of fear, or it's just a matter of comfortability. And in order to overcome these negative thoughts, for one, you definitely need to be in a space of flexibility. You need to be in a space of open mindedness. You need to be in a space of like, hey, I want more, I'm going to get more, and I'm willing to open my mind up to the different ways and paths and avenues to get to the reality that I want for myself. Another way I attack this is understanding what I wanted out of life, understanding the me I wanted to be, and why, right? Not only like say, hey, like I want a clothing brand and I want to be healthier and I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to figure out how to make these two things work, right? That's not really enough. You have to know why you're doing something. You have to know, like, why do I want to be healthier? Why do I want to run a clothing brand? Like, and it can't be I want to be in shape for the summer or I want to make a lot of money. Because I kid you not, man, when you start on that journey, it's gonna turn into a job if you don't know why you're doing it. And you're gonna burn out and you're gonna stop and you're not gonna complete it. And you're not gonna do it into this entirety. You're not gonna put your all in it. You're not gonna be consistent. And you're not gonna sacrifice for it. As soon as it feels like a job, as soon as it feels like it's too much pressure, as soon as it feels like it's too many obligations is tearing your life up or making you do things differently than what you did in the past that you're more comfortable with, you're going to stop. You're going to stop in your tracks and you're not going to want to do that action again. So for me, my why, I know what my why is. I know I want to inspire people. I know I want to take care of my family. I know I need to be healthy in order to take care of my family and in order to carry out the task of being an entrepreneur. I know I need to free my mind and clear my mental capacity of negative thoughts or negative events or negative past. And I need to make amends with whatever that situation or whatever those things are. And until I do that, until we get our mentals together, until we can kind of free up some space up there, me, I was always running around upstairs, going in a million different directions. My mind was telling me to go to the left, and I went. It was telling me to go to the right, and I went. Told me to make a U-turn, and I did, until I kind of understood what I wanted for myself, why I wanted what I wanted for myself. Then I started to get more of a clear vision of what my reality really looks like, instead of just like we're in grade school and we get asked the question, well, what do you want to do when you grow up? Oh, I want to be this, or I want to be, we're just shooting at the hip, but we're kids. We don't really understand what that questions really entail, what really goes into whatever that job is that we said we wanted. And it's the same as an adult. Like, you can't just say I want to do something and be successful at it if you don't know what it's going to take. Measure yourself up to that. Like, be honest with yourself, be true to yourself. I've had a lot of negative thoughts around wanting to amend a relationship, right? And I can speak to this from experience. I've had relationships that aren't there anymore, but the people still live in their family, in their blood. And it hurts to not be able to speak to someone, or it hurts not to be able to connect with someone. And you always will have that negative thought, or I have, like, man, like, you can't change the situation, so don't even give it any entertainment, right? And so I can believe that, but if I believe in the vision of having the friendship or the family member back, then I can't let that negative thought stop me in my tracks before attempting to reach out again, right? It's the same thing. And it could be transferred into so many different avenues. But at the end of the day, man, I want you to understand that negative thought is just a negative thought until you give it life. Doesn't mean that's what your reality is going to be. Doesn't mean that that's what's really going to happen. You are in control. Tell that thought what you want it to hear. And that's you talking to yourself. That's you pouring encouragement and wisdom into yourself. That's you motivating yourself against whatever that negative thought is. So next time you get a negative thought and it pops in, hey man, you can't do that. Ty, you cannot run a clothing brand. I don't know why you're wasting your time. What you tell that negative thought is, yes, I can, because guess what? You're talking to yourself. And that's how you build your confidence up. That's how you knock the wall of fear down. You're telling yourself, hey, I can do this. I have the ability to make this happen. When you say that, make sure you believe it, and make sure you take the steps and take the actions to bring that to your reality. And that's how I've been able to overcome negative thoughts, even though we still gonna have them. But that's my formula, man. When I get it, I speak to it, and I run at the first sight of action. And you can do it too. Don't ever let a negative thought deter you from what your reality should be, what you see for yourself. You can do it. It can be obtainable. Whatever it is, you just need to understand that you got to put a little bit of work in, some elbow grease, and you got to get it up off the ground. But it can be done. Thank you so much for coming back to listen to this episode 2, Negative Thoughts. Hey man, I want to ask, like, share your comments. Like, tell me what you're thinking about these episodes. Let me know. Give me some feedback. Drop some likes. Definitely subscribe, man. Let me know if it's a topic that you want to hear my take on. If it's a topic you want me to expound on. If it's something I said that you want me to expound on, let me know, man. Let me know. I take all criticism, good or bad, because guess what? That's the only way I'm going to get better. If you want to stay in contact, if you want to know when the next episode is coming out, definitely follow us on Instagram at orgvsn.pod. Also, man, the podcast is up on the website, so you can go to orgvsn.com, and under the menu, there's a drop-down menu where you can go to the podcast and you can listen from the website. A lot more in store to come, man. On the next episode 3, we're going to be talking about fear. We're going to expound on that. I know we touched on it a little bit today, But we're going to go into fear and how fear can hold you back, and what I did and what I continue to do to be able to fight against it and be able to push to a new levels on my journey, on my vision, on my path. Keep chasing that vision, y'all. Peace.